Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Let me get our Instagram friends on, because Instagram doesn't like to play with all of my technology. Good morning. Happy October. It's October of 2022. What is happening? Hey, Barbados. Hey, Kenya. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see who all is here. McKeeva Livingstone from Georgia. Tanya Williams from South Carolina. Good morning. Hey, Faithy. Hey, Isabel. Glad to see you, girl. Got your letter. Good morning, everybody. Oh, let me turn the music off. We're done with that. We're done with that. Good morning, Mary Hunt. And San Antonio, Texas, Destiny Harper Lane. South Carolina, Dee Dee Jones. Good morning. All the things. Put your phone on silent, Chrystal. Let's see. Who else we got? Eleanor Shields from Northern California. Hey, Anne from Germany. Glad to see y'all here. And Mia from Connecticut. Robin Brown Young from Ohio. Miss Sheila Connor Harris from Mississippi. Glad y'all are here. Hey, Chantel from Louisiana. Yvette from Clarksville, Tennessee. Good morning, Dream Team Leader. Come on, Dream Team Leader from Ontario. Mel Kagoro from the UK. I see you, Jersey. Dahlia. Glad y'all are here. Good morning to you. Please morning. Oh, my people are trying to help me. Please like and share. Key Washington says, Chrystal, say, please like and share. So I have a few of you watching from Facebook. Oh, I keep forgetting about my friends over here. Let me fix that. And then a bunch of you watching from YouTube. Don't get it twisted. I'm aware that y'all are basically here for some fun and foolery and the chat. I'm like, my eye is watering today. Because the chat is where it's at. See what I did there? Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Maureen from New York. All right. What are y'all doing here? Come on, Instagram. Join the party. Maria from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. All right, go ahead and drop what you are currently drinking in the chat. Hopefully, if you struggle with strong drink, you didn't start early this morning. But listen, tell the truth and shame the devil. This is a safe place. There we go. All right. Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord, everybody. So many things going on in the world. So many things. First of all, I know that a bunch of y'all got a bunch of emails from us this weekend. See, you got an email from me on Saturday, if you're on my email list. You got an email from me last night. Last night we released a video, which is really good. It's called A Call to Clarity. It's Lessons from the Life of Sidney Poitier. And the problem is sometimes if I release a video on Sunday night and then I go live early in the morning, the Sunday night video doesn't get any love. So y'all make sure you go back and watch that video. We may have to fix that. I'm not really sure. The other thing that you need to know about, I forgot to press go. Press go, Chrystal. Okay. 100%. Good morning, Instagram. Hello. Glad you're here with us. The other thing that I just lost my whole train of thought. Oh yeah, the other thing is I'm here live once a month because the party is where it's at. I realize that some of you all are here from the inner circle. If you have not already dropped your yellow circle and you are an inner circle girl, you're a community connection or coffee person. Drop it like it's hot. Let me know you're here. I'm glad you're here. Could not do this without you. So glad you're here. I see y'all rolling in. Hey, Paula Anderson. I see you, Melissa Roberts. See y'all. Hey, Vanessa Harris. Where my yellow circle goes. Gloria Knox. I see you. Hey, LaTanya Robinson. Shave Laney. I see you. Hey, Lachey, girl. I see you here. Good morning. You're dropping in on Instagram. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you're drinking. And again, yes, I know. Y'all need to understand that my husband sometimes tunes in. Sometimes. What that means is while y'all are busy happily enjoying the fun and foolery, he's probably texting me, telling me to stop it. He regularly is texting me, telling me to stop it. I see you, posterity paper. Listen, I need you to send me an email. I need to get some products from you. I want to put you on the Coffee with Chrystal maybe, but I would love to get some stuff from you. So send me an email, okay? hello@crystalevanshurst.com. I love your stuff. It's beautiful. Listen, y'all. I see you from St. Kitts. Somebody's drinking water. Hey, Linda Brooks. Coffee in Louisiana. Black coffee in Indiana. Water in Arlington, Texas. I see you, posterity. Hey, Grand Rapids. Organo Gold Coffee. Maybe is that supposed to say organic, maybe? Caramel Frappuccino. Y'all listen. So here's what's been happening. In my world, I have so many things to tell you about. Listen, I got notes. I was watching movies last night, thinking about y'all. Just team too much. I got books to talk to y'all about this morning. What is Chrystal talking about? Oh, I have things to tell you. Many things to tell you. Oh, my word. Okay. I have a watery eye. Does anybody else have that? It's like it just starts watering, and it's like I'm not going to stop until I'm ready, and it just constantly is running. All right, y'all. So if you're new here, first of all, if you're a first timer, I'd love to know. Go on and tell me that in the comments. Any first timers here? You're like, I happened to follow Chrystal last week. Something YouTube told me. She was on here. Instagram let me know that she was here. I have no idea what's going on. I just clicked OK. So I see a lot of y'all saying you have to go to work. See, this whole situation started because in the pandemic, we didn't have to go to work. And at 7 a.m., everybody was laying in the bed. Now people have to go to work. So here's the good news. The replay will be here of the whole situation for 24 hours. 24. And then after the 24, we pull it down. We strip the fun and foolery. And then next Sunday night, the teaching will be alive and well. So every Monday morning, if you're new here, what happens is I actually do this exact same thing inside of the inner circle. They like to tell me that I teach them well, but really, I know they're just trying to make me feel good. They're really just here for the fun and the foolery, which my husband is usually texting me about and saying, stop, Chrystal, stop it. People can see you. Hey, Shauna, good morning. So if you're here for the first time, you're welcome here. We're glad you're here. I see you, dandelion tea, because dandelion will cleanse your liver. It tastes like dirt. It tastes like tree bark, but it'll set you right. Hi, Melanie Walker. So we're here to have a little bit of fun and foolery. Somebody says, hey, I'm a first timer. I was looking at a lunch recipe for my kids, and then boom, you pop up. So if you're here and you have the ability on the platform of choice to share, go ahead and share. Michelle said, I feel a 3-hour live coming on. I have to stop that. I promised my team that I would stop going live for a million hours, because they're supposed to watch it and take notes on it and write summaries for it. And if I do things that are 3 hours long, then they are dissuaded from doing that. I don't want to dissuade them from doing that. So my goal today is to be hot to trot and off of here by 8:30. I've had a frog in my throat for a whole week, it feels like. All right, y'all. So first things first. First things first. I have it up on the screen. Somebody blessed me on Instagram. Here's the deal. Here's what's coming. You know, I always want to tell you what's coming so you don't miss out. First of all, today, let me tell you what I'm going to talk about. Today, what I'm going to talk about is how you can live with no limits. I'm going to tell you how to live with no limits. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. That's where we're going. Now, I told you that I'm here every Monday morning, but that's not what you see. I actually go live inside of the Inner Circle. Somebody help me out on Instagram. The Inner Circle is for those who, A, want to support the work that we do. Help me stay on live. Help me make sure there are people to make sure that the videos make it out into the wild. Also, did you know that an email list of thousands of people cost hundreds of dollars a month? So those who are like, Chrystal, keep doing what you're doing. That's number one. Number two, they get things first. So, and they get the whole shebang. What we have coming up in the fourth quarter, I believe that the fourth quarter of any year is the best time to get prepared for the first quarter of the next year. And what we typically do is we start in January with all of the resolutions. Okay? We start in January with all the resolutions, and then y'all know the drill. For the most part, by March, we're done. We're done. We feel bad. And then when we start getting to the fourth quarter of the year, we start thinking about what we have not yet accomplished. Okay? So this is the best time of year to refocus your I didn't do it, to supercharge your last quarter, to actually get it done. Because most of the resolutions that we have, you don't need a whole year to do. And then you prepare for the beginning of the year. You relax and you enjoy your holiday. And then when January kicks in, you're ready. But most people don't do that. And they don't do it because they're too busy with all the things that are distracting them at the end of the year. So what we like to do in the last quarter is help you get focused and help you make it through the last quarter of the year well. So we create courses and content that helps you do that. So in addition to the Monday lives, where I'm here with fun and foolery and teaching, we create courses. So in October, we are creating what we call our pathways, and they are self-paced courses. And we're going to be talking about navigating the holidays, navigating it with people, because you know the people are coming in, navigating the holidays because of grief, a variety of things. And so those are self-paced. In October, we're doing a 21-day gratitude journey. And then in December, we have lots of fun planned. We may be doing a little cooking class together with yours truly, making the things. I'll send everybody the recipe, and then, you know, we cook together. And then in addition to that, I just was recently talking to a friend about holding a space for those who may need to process grief this holiday. And so we do a lot of things to help get prepared. We always share things with our Inner Circle first as well. And so if you'd like to check it out, you can simply go to crystalevanshurst.com/inner circle and see if you'd like to join us. I realize that resources are crazy right now, and money is tight and right and funny. But here's what I will tell you. I am of the strong opinion, that therapy is great for many, that friendship is great for all, that everybody I know needs accountability. But I believe that you should not live without community, particularly when you are trying to focus. Many of us have community in our real life. You go to church, You have a small group. Maybe you have a book club, some friends of yours. Maybe you walk with women in your neighborhood. That there's some connection. Maybe your sisters and your mothers get together once a month for a nice meal. I don't know what community looks like for you, but what I know is that when we're trying to grow, community makes all the difference. It makes all the difference that you're not doing it on your own. So what we provide through the Sister Circle is all of this content that you see, because I want to give you content. And then what we provide is the inner circle that says, Chrystal, I love the content, but I actually want to grow. I want to systematically walk through things that I may not know, but I'm not doing. And I want you to keep me motivated. I used to have the Nike app on my Nike watch, and I would have the app on my phone too. And I would go run. And then every time I would hit a mile or half a mile or something like that, somebody's voice would come in and say, only a quarter to go. You're doing good. Keep at it. I don't even know whose voice that was. However, the voice in my ear kept me going. It made me feel like, okay, somebody's with me, right? And so sometimes you just need to have somebody in your ear. And I gladly do that. During the 21 day, for example, you hear from me every stinking day. I drop an audio every single day. All right. So here's the deal. There's some other things I want to talk about. First of all, we want to send up prayers and thoughts for Florida. If you know somebody in Florida, raise your hand. Somebody who's experienced flooding. I'm going to say a prayer real quick, y'all. Say a prayer real quick. Lord God, you know that you created the winds and the waves. You created the weather. You created the ability for the earth to circle around itself and create torrential rains and floods. And while we hate to have bad things happen to good people, we know that we live in a world that is broken. We know we live in a world that is not whole. And the earth, the Bible says, it groans in response and in waiting for the return of Jesus Christ. But we are here. And sometimes the groaning of the earth means we have trouble. So Lord, we pray for everybody who has their hands raised and the person they know there. I pray that you would allow those who are there to receive your help. The help from really kind people who are there, from the Red Cross, from emergency systems, the people who are there, who are sharing because of churches in the areas or communities that want to serve. I pray that you would meet every little need. I pray that homes would be restored. I pray that people would be moved to safety. For those of us who want to do more than just pray, would you connect us with movements that are there so that we can give, so that we can go, so that we can gather around those who are hurting. Lord, help us to be your hands and your feet. Help us to know which causes we should respond to personally. But always let us pray. But we want to be hands and feet. And so right now, Lord, I just pray that you would make that known to those of us who would like to be, what we can do, where we can give, who we can support, who is physically there right now. And we just pray, Lord, that when these things happen, that you would remind us that this earth is not our home, that our homes are not forever, and that things will pass away, that only what we do for Christ will last. But since we have to live here until you come, or until we come to meet you, would you restore our homes? Would you keep us safe? Would you meet our needs? And for those who are struggling, show us how to be your hands and feet. In Jesus' name. So here's the deal. I want to relieve you of something. I want to tell you that if you know how to be the hands and feet, and if you know how to do good, you do good. If you are aware of an organization that needs your support, your physical support, if you have the wherewithal to go get on a plane and do something, go do it. But know that often when the Bible talks about doing good in Ephesians 2:10, he says that he has given us good things to do. good works, that we should walk in them. Everybody has different good works. So for those of y'all who are feeling bad because you're not doing anything, you do what's in front of you to do. We all have to play our part, and that means everybody doesn't do everything. There are some people right now that are pricked because you know exactly what you can do, what you should do to support those who are in Florida. You know that there's someone you can support because maybe it's a family member who's lost their home. They're coming to live with you for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you know what to do. And there are other people who are like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't even know anybody there. I don't know what organization would be good for me to support. Relax. I'm not saying don't look at it. If God pricks your heart, look for it. But I'm also saying something will happen near you. Look for good works that you can do or where God is totally pricking your heart. Okay? Lakindria. Yes, I'm so glad. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I literally was just thinking about you. And I know you lost everything 2 weeks ago in a house fire. So you've relocated from New Hampshire to Tennessee. I'll be reaching out to you soon, darling. I saw that. I'm reaching out to you soon. I'm glad you're here, though. Glad you're here. All right, y'all. So let's move on. Let me talk to you about my whole life. Let me talk to you about my whole life. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here it go. You ready for a little foolery? I've already been for 30 minutes. And we've just talked about what we're drinking in the inner circle. Inner circle, the doors are always open, but we start new things. So come on in. Check it out. We'd love to have you. All right. Look what I have. Biscoff cookies. Now, I talked about this last week in the inner circle. I have a problem, y'all. It's a great problem to have. Are you ready? Ready? Here it go. Want to hear it? Here it go. Let me tell you why I have two of these. I have two of these because I fly enough, but really I spend enough, try to put everything on my credit card and then we pay it off at the end of the month, to now have executive platinum status. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Let me tell you what they don't have. When I get bumped into first class because I'm executive platinum, they don't have Biscoff cookies up there. But here's the problem. Y'all. Here's the problem. I'm so grateful because they will come and they'll say, can we get you anything else? And I'll say, yes. Could you please get me some Biscoff cookies? Then let me tell you what they do. And they do this every single time. Every single stinking time. They don't just bring me back one package. They bring me back 3 or 4. And then I have to sit up in first class and act like I'm not going to eat all of them. So I try to put 2 or 3 away if they gave me 3 or 4. And I try to just eat one. Let me tell you something. I go through all the situations up there. I try to look like I'm not crazy. I'll say, oh my, thank you so much. Let me put these away and take them home to my children. Come on, y'all. These made it because I wanted a real life demonstration. But let me tell you what's about to happen to this on today. Let me tell you. These are stupid. I found them at Costco and I bought a whole package. I will never do that crap again. You want to know why? Because I ate the whole thing. I ate the whole thing. And I kept saying every day, I'm going to have one like a week. Please. That whole package was gone in a week. In a whole week. It was gone. So I no longer buy these. But when I ask for them in first class, they do not bring me just one. They bring me 3 or 4. What I should do is leave them on the plane. That's what I should do. But no, I gather them suckers up. I put them in my purse or in my backpack. And here I am. Yes, I've had the cookie butter. Of course, I've had the ice cream. It really is too much. Like, it's too much. The ice cream and the Biscoff. It's like ridiculously sweet, you know? There are certain things you just cannot buy. You have to know your limits. You have to know your limits. Am I correct? I am correct, just in case you didn't realize that. I am correct. Jesus help. Jesus help. So the other thing that is a problem is I went to the fair. Went to the fair with my daughter and my grandchildren, all 4 of them. I went because they're going. So I did the whole thing. I did the grandmother thing. I really didn't do too much. I walked around, pretended like I was old. I got on a couple of the rides with the grandbabies. But I will tell you, I got on this one ride where you spin around and round and round and round and round and round and round and round. I don't even know what it's called. These fair rides are all suspect. And if you're on social media long enough, you realize that things can go awry. Things can fall off in the sky. Things can spin off their axis. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking, girl, you too old to get on this. You've seen what can happen. You've seen what can happen. I don't even know what the name of it is. Is it the Scrambler? I don't know. But I was on it and I'm telling Ellie, the oldest grandbaby, I said, so what's going to happen is you're going to stick to the wall. Let me tell you the first problem about sticking to the wall. Let me tell you the first problem. Let me tell you the first problem. The first problem is when you back that thing up and put it on the wall and you realize that the only thing touching the wall is your hind parts. Your back's not touching the wall. Your thighs aren't touching the wall because your hind parts are in the way. It buffers everything else and creates a space between your actual back and your thighs. I was thinking, what if I don't stick? What if I don't stick? What if there's not enough surface area for me to actually stick to the wall? What if the only thing that sticks is my hind parts, and that's not enough surface area to keep me attached? What if when this thing starts spinning virtually upside down, what if I separate and go falling to my death? Because you're supposed to have your whole situation solid, on the wall. You're supposed to have the whole thing. And y'all, I was backing up and the small of my back was like, I can't reach that. I cannot swerve. I cannot unsway to place the small of your back, girl, on this thing. And I was like, I wonder if I'm not going to stick. What happens if I don't stick? Now, some of these are the ones where you go round and round in circles and the floor drops. This is not that. This is the one that goes round and round and then it slowly turns up. So when it's going round and round, you go up and you're like facing down. The second thought I had was, am I too old for this? Because at some point I hear about people talking about their center of gravity being off or, like vertigo and that kind of stuff messing them up. I remember my dad used to do this stuff with me all the time, right? He was like a roller coaster rider. And I remember the day he said, I don't want to get on that. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, that's going to mess with my head. And I was like, what? And I was thinking, is this my time? Like, I have grandchildren. Is this my time? So that did not happen. I did fine. My son actually bent over. He said, I think I'm going to throw up. He said, I'm never getting on that again. My 13-year-old. But I was good. I just wasn't sure I was going to stick. But I did stick. Apparently, the faster we went, it sucked my back in. There were parts of me that didn't stick, but the majority of me did. So I made it out alive. It was great. The grandbabies had a great time because really it's all about watching them have fun and spending $1 million. Let me tell you something. Before we got into the situation we're in now, financially, y'all, before that, the fair last year doubled their prices, double the coupon price. You used to be able to get a coupon for 50 cents. Now the coupons are $1. So when you go get a turkey leg, the turkey leg is $20. $20 for a turkey leg. It's stupid. So we're having to set expectations. I took my kids. I will take them this Sunday. My oldest boy will be home from college. So we'll take them, and enjoy their lives. I'm not paying for games. I'm not paying for the games. Not doing that. You also are limited on your rides. You're limited on your food, because this stuff is ridiculous. But the main reason why you're limited on your food is because that stuff is going to kill you. It's going to kill you. So before we were struggling with our money, the fair doubled their prices for their coupons, and everything now costs $1 million. But also, everything you eat is soaked in grease. It is littered with the most sugar ever. The drinks are going to send you into high heaven of high sugar hellaciousness. It is ridiculous. And I went there and I'm just like, no, I'm not paying for that. And my son was like, but what? I said, no, you're not going to die on today. No time to die. So I didn't even get my favorite foods because I was there for the grandbabies. Totally there for the grandbabies. I let them enjoy themselves. I was there to enjoy it with them. They had fun. My hope is that they will always remember me as the grandmother who would do stuff with them. I do stuff with them. I help be a part of the team that makes sure they get worn out. Let them have a great time. Then take them all the way home and let them pass out early. That's the goal. We are trying to be healthier. Always trying to be healthy. The bane of my existence is eating out, right? So we try to eat home. We get a Blue Apron meal every now and then. I do enjoy Blue Apron. It makes me try new things. My husband and my son the other day were doing this. We are in this season where you're going to eat what's in the fridge. Anybody else have that season? It's like there is a full pantry. I know you want to go to the store because we're out of the juice, but there's a full pantry. I know you want to go to the store because, we're out of your favorite snack. You better make a granola bar. I know that you want to go to the store because there are no more frozen vegetables. You better eat that apple right there. Oh, you talking about that brown spot? All right, let's make some cinnamon apples. We are not buying stuff from the store because the pantry is full. There's stuff in the freezer. Quit staring in front of the freezer, opening the door and telling me there's nothing to eat. Oh, yes, there is. And I bet you if you were really hungry, you would totally eat what's in front of you. I'm not fooling with them. I am not fooling with them. Tell you something. I have never seen the righteous forsaken nor the seed begging for bread. But if you run out of bread, you better make some. You better get a recipe and learn how to make yourself some bread. Hey, Contessa. Listen. If there are ingredients, that means you have a meal. Mama, there's no more meat. You better become a vegetarian. You better learn how to eat vegetables. Oh, listen. And I know that some of y'all are not going to agree with this, and I'm okay. I'm okay with this. I do not believe in expiration dates. I was raised when people didn't have time or money to go rebuy it just because the expiration date had passed. I believe that if it looks good, smells good, tastes good, it is good. And if the company wants to not be liable because they put a stamp on it, that's their business. They got to deal with their legal department. I don't have to deal with their legal department. I got to deal with my finance department though. So if it looks good, if it smells good, hi Jessa, and if it tastes good, I'm good. I'm good. And the kids are freaked out. Now, if you are under 40, you may not agree with this. Under 35, I have seen so many people that are freaked out when they're like, you're going to eat that? There was a girl who used to work with me, y'all. She's helping me in my home. And she was trying to go through my refrigerator and clean things out. And I said, that's still good. And she would say, Chrystal. I was like, You don't have to eat it, but let me tell you what we're going to do in here on today. We're going to smell it. We're going to look at it. We're going to inspect it. And then here's how I am too, y'all. Let me tell you something. And let me tell you how you will change your mind. I'm gonna tell you what'll change your mind. Number one, here's the next level. Okay, expiration dates, don't care about those. But here's the next level. The next level is, oh, I see the mold, but the mold is on the back right corner, so we're cutting that off. Don't tell me you're not going to eat that banana because of the brown spot. First of all, give me that brown spot. It'll make its way into some banana bread or a smoothie. I have no problem with the brown spot. But if you cannot feel good about that, but it was a whole dish and it's in the back right corner, we're going to cut that off. We'll cut off. It's kind of like, when you have to have surgery and you have to cut off the bad stuff. You cut off the bad stuff and we need margin. Okay, we need margin. We do need margin. We need some separation. But once we get the bad stuff and margin, listen, does the rest of it look good, taste good? Let me tell you why this is terrible. Because somebody's going to be like, I'm never eating at her house. I don't do that for y'all. I just do that for my kids. Not for y'all. I don't do that for y'all. But this is why, let me tell you what'll change your mind. Let me tell you what'll change your mind. Yes, I know. Leisha said mold is risky because it travels to other parts the longer it sits. I know. I'm talking about a large dish. On occasion, not all the time. Probably shouldn't have told y'all that. Anyway, here's the deal. The deal is, let me tell you what'll change your mind about all this. Let me tell you about all this. There are those of us that have grandmothers or great grandparents who lived during the Depression. I know. I see your faces. You're all freaking out. Let me tell you what they did. They did not get rid of it unless it looked bad, smelled bad, tasted bad. And they cut off what wasn't good. You want to know why? Because they couldn't afford to do anything different. Y'all are seeing this news about all these food shortages. Start going hungry. But also, be wise. Be wise. This is why you can't eat everybody's food. Because you don't know what they be doing at home. Now, y'all, I'm a clean cook when I'm cooking. This is what I do with my children, whose immune systems I know. Got to know what you're doing. But I would venture to say there are a lot of boundaries that we have simply because we have not been forced to go to a limit. We have high boundaries because we have the freedom. We are blessed to be able to have high boundaries. Let those boundaries start shrinking in on you and get hungry. Get hungry. Some of y'all will be changing your tune. Anyway, y'all are going to, this is what's going to happen. This is why sometimes, y'all, I have to cut the fun and foolery because sometimes I'll say things that shouldn't stay on the interwebs. They just shouldn't stay. This was for you and for you alone and whoever's going to come and watch this after we're done. And then that's it. It'll stay in the inner circle forever. It will not be here. All right, y'all. What else did I want to tell you about? So, y'all, sometimes I think, I do these videos. And when I'm doing these videos, y'all, it's in the morning. It's early in the morning, right? I'm drinking my tea, no makeup, because this is how I like to rock it. But every now and then I like to get made up and I go places and I do things. So I was just in California shooting an episode of Better Together. And when I have makeup on, I tell the girls in the office, what do you need? What do you need? Because you better come and get it while I'm dressed. Because as soon as I wipe this makeup off, it's over. I'm done. That's it. That's all she wrote. That's it. I am trying to get my clothing game together. I'm trying to decide. So my sister hipped me to this wonderful young man who is a stylist. It's his side hustle. So I did have him come over. He bought some clothes that were really cute. And I was looking at it and thinking, am I going to wear this? Am I actually going to wear it? So here's the problem. The problem is, black means I don't have to think. Black means I don't have to think. That's what that means. If I start trying to wear other colors, that means I have to think. It means I have to think about what jewelry I'm going to pack, what shoes or pants need to be cleaned, because only so many things match that. But I'm going to try, y'all. I'm going to try it because really, it didn't matter so much before COVID, because before COVID, I could go and speak and I had 2 or 3 at the most speaking outfits, 2 or 3 speaking outfits. And I would wear the same ones all the time. It was so easy because I would pack 2 or 3 of the same outfits every single time. And then after COVID, now everything is video. Well, I can't be seen in the exact same outfit, can I? Every time I speak. Hey, Naya. So I feel like I'm going to make the effort just so I don't always look the same. It's either that or I'm going to have a strong buy it and take it back ministry. And I'm trying to be a person of integrity. So we're going to try this out. But listen, and he's reasonable. He is reasonable. He is reasonable. Okay. But I still got the first bill. I got the first bill. I got the first bill for his time. And I got the first bill from his clothing. And the clothing, y'all, he bought some stuff from JCPenney, like totally reasonable. I will drop money like that on an iPhone, like that on a new computer. Don't ask me if I'm thinking about right now getting a new microphone. Don't ask me twice. I just had to put new floors in the house. Finally, y'all, the floors are in from 2 years ago from the flood. Got the floors we wanted because this is going to be for years. I have no problem with this. But when I got that bill for those clothes, I was just thinking, I don't want to spend money on clothes. This is not what I want to spend money. This is not what I want to do. I want a massage. Yes. Do I want to eat a great meal at a great restaurant? Do I want a great steak? Thank you, filet mignon, cooked medium. Absolutely. Yes, put the Oscar thing across the top. You want me to make it a surf and turf? No problem. Let's do that. But I got that bill for the clothes, y'all, and I was like, I don't care this much. I don't care. I think, hi, Elizabeth Moore. I think I want to wear, I think I want to be Whoopi. Do I want to have a strong shoe game? Probably. The shoes and the jewelry can make a statement, probably. But the clothes, I think, hi, Lena Bean, I think I just cannot do it. So I'm going to try it. He's supposed to be, he said, just give me, just give me a few weeks. Just give me a few weeks. We're going to see. It made my stomach flip. I was just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. And I'm trying to figure out if it's like, you don't want to eat asparagus, but you do it because it's good for you. Or I don't like asparagus and so I'm not going to buy it. I don't know. We're going to see. So yeah, when I get dressed up, we take pictures. Let's see, what else? Oh, yes. But I will say it is time for me to get my food game back on. It's about the time. My brother always says, don't do extreme things. I don't know that I know how to not do extreme things. So I may be about to go vegan for about 6 to 8 weeks. I may be about to do that. Because, it's the last quarter of the year. Do you know how much weight you can lose in like 3 months? If you focus. Melanie said, it's a business expense. You do realize it's a business expense, Chrystal. I agree. Demetria says, Chrystal, are you going to be the Steve Jobs of ministry with a twist of Whoopi? That might be what happens. Y'all, I thought about for a hot second reaching out to Jay Bolin. I thought about it. And then I realized he's $1 million. He's $1 million. One, I will say, I do like shocking people though. I do like when I totally get dolled up, like when my makeup is for real done, and I totally get dressed up and go all the way extra. Y'all have seen the videos on Instagram or Facebook where somebody does their makeup and when they're done, they look like a whole different person. Their skin color is even different. It's a whole, hey, Natalie Irving, it's a whole situation. And you're looking at them like they don't even look like the same person. I don't think I look like a totally different person, but I do have a strong made up game. I do have a strong, did she enter the building vibe going on. Yeah. Are his pieces on his website reasonable? I wouldn't know, Naya. I wouldn't know because I'm not going online to shop. Can't do it. There are other things to do online. Yes, and he does do color. I don't mind color when other people do it or do it for me. I just cannot. I literally straight up go in Marshalls or Ross, or even the only reason why I can kind of sort of get with Nordstrom's is because the people help you. The people help you. They help me. I am here. I need like 3 or 4 outfits. I go during the day when the full-time people work, because full-time people are different than part-time people. So I ask the full-time people for help. And sometimes, they're helpful. But I can't, y'all. I just can't do it. Okay, so this weekend, let me see. What else did I want to show you? This weekend, I was speaking close to home, 20 minutes away from my house. I was speaking and I texted friends. Nordstrom's Rack, I know it's great. In theory, I can't do it. I just can't. My blood pressure rises in the store. Jesus help. So I texted friends and said, hey, I'm speaking close by. You want to come? You can sit with me. So I had some friends join me, some of my lifelong friends, like 30-year friendships. Can I just tell you, I totally finished speaking. No. I went up to speak and immediately felt my nerves rise to the top. Immediately. Because these girls know me and they're going to sit there and be like, what is she talking about? What is she talking about? They're going to look at each other and go, what is she talking about? They know me and they've been in church with me, a lot of them. So they've listened to my dad preach, am I going to slip and say a couple things he would say? Probably. And then they're going to be like, she got that from her daddy. Like I immediately was so self-conscious immediately. And then coming off the stage was worse. I was sitting in shame for about 10 minutes, sitting in shame. Like I have a strong shame game. I have a horrible inner voice that wants to totally destroy anything and everything I do in the world. And I have to calm her down. I literally had to calm her down because my friends were sitting behind me. And I was literally thinking about all the things that I said that weren't right, points I didn't make clear, words I stumbled over, scriptures I didn't quote exactly like word for word. It was like the general idea. I didn't remember where the verse was, but I just said the book or the chapter. I was sat there for like 5 to 10 minutes, like heaping shame onto myself. Later on, I got home and I got a text from one of my girlfriends, but I had to talk myself out of it. I've learned to talk myself out of it. And later on I got home and one of the girls, yes, imposter syndrome. You know about that. There are a couple videos out there about that. One of the girls texted me and said, she specifically kind of called out some specific things that I talked about. And she said, when you talked about this, I really needed that. I needed to be reminded about this. You, shone a light on some things that I had been struggling with that I was not acknowledging. And you showed me exactly what to do and exactly where to go in the scripture to conquer what's happening in my life. But before she gave me that feedback and encouragement, I had to encourage myself. Can I just tell you that sometimes you have to encourage yourself? You have to do it because you will have the enemy or your alter ego who's not for you, talking you down from the thing that you are actually created to do. So you have to do that. And you have to know your weaknesses. All right. I know my weaknesses. I went on a bike ride with my youngest son. First of all, my bike needs to be oiled. The chain needs some grease. Because I was switching gears and the chain was coming off. But I had set expectations with my son. I said, listen, I haven't been out here in these streets for a hot second. I'm going to go a little slower than you. You need to wait on me. And so when the chain came off and I needed to stop the bike and get off and fix my chain, he had been prepared. Sometimes you need to know that when you switch gears, the chain comes off and you have to give yourself permission to slow down, to get off and fix your chain. Okay? But just because the chain gets a little off track, that doesn't mean you don't go on the ride. It doesn't mean that you don't go for the ride. It doesn't mean that you don't do the thing that's going to make a memory, that's going to give you exercise, that's going to allow you to be with people you love and to do things that you enjoy. You just get off and fix the chain. You give yourself grace. Let me tell you another thing where I had to give myself grace recently. Y'all, I am the worst. I know that when I use a credit card, a debit card, or use my license, I know I have to put it back. I know I need to put it back. But can I just tell you, sometimes I just don't. I just don't. So I got to the airport just recently and I got to check in my bag and I had no license because I'd left it in the car. But then now the car was too far for me to go get it. But I always travel with my passport. And I brought my passport with me. So that was fine. Here's the problem with my passport. Y'all aren't ready for this. You're not ready for this. So the first thing is I show my passport to the person who I'm checking in my bag. And they look at me and they look at my passport, make a face. They look back at me and they look at my passport. And he actually says, "Is that you?" And I was like, "Yes." Now, let me tell you about my passport. My passport, I'm fully made up because when I went to go get my passport, I was like, "Are we going to get this done on a good day?" I'm not so sure that was a good idea. Because after that, y'all, and this has never happened before. I've used my passport before. But I literally, after that, went through the line at security. And the guy who was checking me in at security, he said, "Hold on 1 minute. Let me check." So he took my passport, leans over to another security guy, and he says, "Is this her?" I said, "It's me." I said, "Look, let me smile or something." So I'm at the security gate I was like, "See, I have my makeup in my bag if y'all need me to put some makeup on." So I'm sitting there and I don't know what was different about that day because I always go to the airport. I don't do makeup. I can't. But I'm like, am I going to? Oh, no. He literally conferred with his neighbor security man. He literally conferred. And then when I smiled, I was like, "See?" He said, "Yeah, I guess that's you." Wow. Amazing. So I guess, y'all, my makeup game is very strong. Because when I go out without it, people don't know who I am. I remember being in high school. There was this girl who was always very made up. And I said, I never want to wear that much makeup. Because one time she came to church without makeup. And I said, "Are you okay?" She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "You just look like you're not feeling well." She said, "Girl, I'm just not wearing makeup today." I felt horrible. I said, I never wanted to wear makeup like that where you couldn't tell it was me. So, word to the wise. If you're going to take your license or your passport, you can put on makeup, but not that much. Because they need to be able to know that it's you in your picture. Okay? It's a word to the wise. It's a word to the wise. These are the things that I live to tell you about. All right, y'all. I feel like that has been enough foolery for today. Y'all have heard about my passport woes, my Biscoff cookies. You've heard about how I didn't think I was going to stick to the ride at the fair. You've heard about me going vegan. Pray for my strength. Because I can't do two things at once. I can't cook well for my family where they're going to enjoy it and cook healthy for me. So if I'm going down, they're going down too, which they're not going to be very happy about it. Anyway. Okay, so let me chat about some things here. Let me straighten up and fly right. There's one more thing before I get into today's mentoring moment. I'm about to teach y'all something. We're going to talk about living with no limits. But before I get into that, I want to make sure that you know that there are limits on our coaching groups. This is the last week for you to sign up. The doors close October the 9th. What day is October the 9th? October the 9th is a Sunday. But before they close, I know that 2 of them for sure are about to fill up. They're close. So I want you to think about the fact that if you are trying to get something done in your life and you have not been able to do it yet on your own, maybe you just need community or a helping hand. So if you are a writer who wants to finish books, a speaker who wants to get booked, if you are a woman who's married who wants to know how to be a good wife, take care of your husband's heart while you also take care of your responsibilities in marriage, while also not losing marriage. If you are dating and you're sick of the dating game, there's dating. If you are in relationships that are challenging, difficult, you're trying to figure out how to set boundaries. Do I love them? Do I leave them? Relationship difficulties. And then my Aunt Ruth, who is in her late 70s. You don't get wisdom like this just available. She will be teaching on spiritual authority. Spiritual authority. How you can walk with power in your life. So you want to go right now. Somebody help me in the chat on Instagram to ChrystalEvansHurst.com and sign up. People say, Chrystal, can you mentor me? I would love to. I love it. I love going to coffee with people. I love spending time with people. However, I'm limited. We're all a limited resource, right? I try to do that for people I know in real life. Of course, I got to do it with my kids. I have my own daughters. And then there are a handful of people that I want to spend time with because I have limited time. But what I love doing is creating a space where other women who have time and want to share their gifting with you, to create a space where you can connect with them. Okay? They're all at different times. They're at times that work for them. However, I will say that the women who did it said they were totally changed. Having someone know your name and call things out of you is amazing. It's amazing. Chrystal is with an H, y'all, on Instagram. Chrystal, ChrystalEvans, Hurst. All right. Ready to hear it? Here it go. Ready to hear it? Here it go. So y'all are here for the recording, which means bloopers reign. But here's the teaching, y'all. No limits. Let's get into it. Aren't you proud of me? It's 8:09. You do not sign up on Instagram. You have to go to my website, ChrystalEvansHurst.com/coaching. Someone emailed me the other day, by the way, to tell me they were so abhorred about the price. I'm going to tell you, they are $249 or $349. But if you consider the fact that many people pay $100 and something for group coaching or therapy, a session, or even if your insurance pays, right? You pay $35, you pay your copay or whatever. Yeah, abhorred. She was very, very, and I responded to her and I just said, listen, the people that I'm sharing with you, they do this stuff for a living. And actually, if you go check on other coaching things that are out there, they're way more expensive than this. Everybody has to do what they can do with their money, right? There are courses. I was going to pay for this course, y'all. It wasn't even live. This person would never even know my name. And it was to teach me how to do something, right? And it was $2,000. I did not do it because I did not have it. But a lot of people did. And they do it because they understand when they learn this, when they learn how to do this, they'll be able to generate income that justifies the cost. Well, here's the thing. I think that when you know you need help in an area and you're stuck and you can't move past something and you need someone's help to get you past, watch a YouTube video, listen to podcast, develop a friend group. But if those things aren't working, investing in you is a worthy effort. So I know everybody can't, but for those who can, we want to make it available. The cohorts last for 4 weeks. They last for 4 weeks. Okay. So just know we are very thoughtful about it. I know for some people it's like, oh my gosh. Others of y'all know because y'all have paid for coaching or courses. Y'all know. But just know the effort is to be sensitive to that. All right. Hey, Miss Deborah, Mama K. Here we go. It's my news. It's my newscaster situation. All right, y'all. Oh, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to give y'all a little something on YouTube and Facebook because I can. Let's see here. Y'all will enjoy this while I get myself together. So, you need to understand, y'all, that what I'm about... Ooh, $16,000 a year. Oh, my word. Jesus. Be offense. What? I met a girl who actually told me that she had paid, she went to go see Oprah. She paid for the VIP ticket. And she said, as a small business owner, she allocates $25,000 a year for her own growth and development. Like, it's a business expense. She said, I fly myself to all of these places. And I was just sitting there going, for real? It's like, let me tell you what I do. I pay for YouTube Premium just so I don't have to watch the ads for all the videos that I'm learning from. But I have done my own fair share of coaching last year. Some of it was worth its salt. Some of it was not. But for the ones that were, the investment was worth it. You just have to decide, you just have to know your limits and decide. All right, let's jump into it. Let's get into it. You ready? You ready to hear it? Here it go. You ready to hear it? Here it go. Here we go. Now, don't have too much foolery in the comments because y'all will distract me. You'll distract me. And I'll be like, what are they talking about? I don't want to miss out on what they're talking about. All right, here we go. 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 Oh, new planner is coming too. I don't have a thing for that, but we have our digital planner in the store. If you're like, you know what, I want to do the work of getting ready for 2022, you can go grab that digital planner. It's $15. You can grab it until the real one comes out. We should have the mock-up this week. I'm really excited. Here we go. No limits. No limits. Let me get my notes together, y'all. I'm going to try to be ready, right and ready for y'all. Okay. All right. Did you know that you were designed to live without limits? Let me tell you about yourself. Come on, let's get into it. My name is, nope. How do I start this? Okay. Hey there, I'm glad you're here watching and or listening because this is a podcast too. My name is Chrystal Evans-Hurst. I'm here every Sunday evening sharing content that I hope helps you to live your life well. Why? Because listen, I've had some wonderful people to share wisdom with me and it helped me. And as I live, I want to share wisdom with you. If you are watching on YouTube or Facebook and you are not already subscribed to the YouTube channel or following me on Facebook, do that right now. Make sure you do that right now. Make sure you have your notifications on. So that way, when I go live, when I share a new video, or when I just pop on for fun and foolery, because I do that sometimes, you won't miss it. I'm so glad to talk to you today, but you need to know before I get into the teaching that I have prepared for you, that before we got to this point of this recording, there was a whole hour and some odd minutes of foolery. A little bit of Biscoff cookies and being mistaken for somebody else because my passport picture didn't match my face. Also, am I going to stick to the wall at the fair or am I going to become a casualty? A whole series of foolery that belongs in the inner circle. I would love to have you be a part of the inner circle because I give the inner circle the best first. They get the most always, and they get the best discounts. I would love to also have the opportunity to share with you in a deeper way so that you can live your life well. If you feel like you need a virtual mentor or coach, I'm your big sister, and I would love to meet you on the other side. Simply go to crystalevanshurst.com/inner circle. We're getting geared up for the fourth quarter, and it's going to be great. Now, let me tell you what I need to tell you. Okay? All right? Want to hear it? Here it go. You were designed to live beyond the limits that you place on yourself. No limits. Yes. Limits that you come up with are typically given to you because your upbringing or what you've seen in your life has taught you what you're capable of doing. And usually life has lied to you. There's a scripture that I love so much. It's Ephesians 3:20. And it says that he is able to do far more than you can even think about, than you can even ask for. Because I believe that God in us, every single one of us, has dreamed things for us we would never dream for ourselves. But we are boxed in by the expectations of others. We get boxed in by our experiences. We get boxed in because of our exposure. And we get limited in our thinking because of what we know is possible. But when you believe and understand that there is opportunity, that there are experiences, that there are places and people, that there are accomplishments that you haven't even thought of, then you will live knowing that the limits are off. It changes the game when you understand that you are probably living with limits that you don't even know you have, and that you were born because a God said, I want her to be here, and he thinks beyond the limitations that you have for yourself. Here's the problem though. We lack the knowledge. We lack the ability to see beyond what we know. This is why it's so important for your kids to have exposure, for them to go beyond what they see every day. This is why it's so important when you can to travel or to read biographies and to travel in your head when you can't travel with your feet, so that you can experience the life that is possible, even when it's not the life you know to lead. So let me talk to you about why sometimes we live with limits. There are three primary reasons. One is we lack information. Two is we lack the discipline to shift the boundaries. Three is we lack the guidance and support. We lack the information. We lack the discipline. We lack the guidance and support. And there are solutions for each one of these things, but you have to decide that you want to push the boundaries of what you know. I believe for each one of us, there is something in us that wants to rise. This is why we get in trouble on social media. We get in trouble on social media because we experience something rising in us because we see it in other people. Even if what they're sharing is fake, even if what they're sharing is dressed up, even if what they're sharing is crafted, we still see it and we want it. We want to be put together. We want to experience financial freedom. We want to experience great relationship. We want to experience the ability to walk out and live in our calling. We want to experience reaching the heights of whatever career path we choose. We want to experience knowing that we're in the right place, that we're loved, that we've created a great memory. We want to experience walking around in nature on the other side of the world and understanding that God's creation was given to us to enjoy. We want to do these things. And so we see other people doing them. Something calls out to us in our soul and we say, I want that. But here's the opposite of knowing that you don't have a boundary or a limitation from reaching those heights. You look at it, you crave it, you compare, you get envious, you get jealous, and that limitation that you see because they're doing it and I'm not turns around and eats you alive. It actually deepens your sense of limitedness. So it calls out to us. We want to rise to it. But where we get stuck is we don't know how. We don't know how to have money not be a thing. We don't know how to reach the point where we can work for ourselves, own our own business, or be in somebody else's business, but rise to the top. We don't know how to make it work. And so we say, I lack the information. So they have information I don't have. They have a leg up that I didn't get. Or we say, I lack the discipline. I'm glad that they can do that. I would never be able to do that. I've tried it and I've failed over and over again. Or we lack the guidance and support. There is something that you need in order to shift things in your life, and you don't know who to ask. You don't know where to go. All of these will reinforce a belief that you had about yourself before you even looked outside of yourself for the answer. And that's the first problem. You looking outside of yourself. You have been given, let me say this really clearly. You have been given everything you need. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have to go outside of you to discover some things, but you have everything you need to be driven enough to go get it, to be smart enough to ask the right questions, to be hungry enough to pursue it. You have been given everything you need to live the life God gave you. There is no limit on what you can do when you are doing what God wants for you, when you are flowing in the river of his purpose for you, when you are maximizing the potential he gave you. There is no limit. The limits that we often live with are limits that we've put on ourselves. There is a lady that I just recently read about. Her name is Audrey Mest. She was participating in a sport. It's no limit deep diving. And that is where you go 75, 85, 95, 105, 125 meters down below the surface of the ocean on one breath. She had experienced in her life some physical limitation, and for a research paper, for a thesis paper, she was talking about the limitations of the human body because of her own experience having limitations, and she discovered upon a guy with the last name of Pepin who was a no-limit deep diver. And she not only decided to make him the subject of her paper, she decided to research him in real time. She got to know this man, and actually she fell in love with this man, and he, falling in love with her, enticed her into this sport. So she started diving deep and learning how to push the boundaries of the capacity of her lungs to carry her hundreds of feet down on one breath. We see this all the time in the Olympics. We see people making records, breaking records. They decide that their body can do more than what it can naturally do. And they train and they develop and then they get coaching and they push the boundaries of the human body. Why? To experience victory, to know that they can, as Eric Little said, feel the pleasure of God when they run, when they climb, when they jump, when they ski. They feel this exhilaration from pushing the boundaries of the human body and doing what most people will never do, and knowing and having some deep satisfaction that they are walking in their calling, pushing the boundaries and pushing the limits. There is something that happens in your mind and in your heart when you push the limits. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, where am I thinking that I can't? Because that's probably the very place where you need to push the boundaries. Now, you may have to get the information. You may have to get the community or accountability around you so that you can exercise the discipline when motivation runs out. You may need guidance and support. You may need to read the book. You join the group. You get the coach. You take the class. But you expand your horizons when you decide that the very thing I think I can't do, or the very place that I feel called, something in me wants what I see, not so much out of covetousness, like I want it because they have it, but I want it because something in me agrees with this, that this is supposed to be my life. We tell ourselves stories, and the stories that we tell ourselves keep us comfortable. We like reliving the chapters of the stories that we know. I remember reading to my children, and I would read books over and over to them. All the Dr. Seuss, The Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, all of these books. Do you know how much joy they got from being able to read along with me? When they got to know that they could recite the words of the book, not because they could read, but because they'd heard that story so many times. And then there came a point, though, where I had to push the limits. I had to teach them how to read so that they could read for themselves. Even though even though they enjoyed the story as mom read it to them. Mom reading to them is not the end all. You may be comfortable with mom reading to you, but that's not the end of the story. You may enjoy knowing the rhythm of the words, but you got to get beyond knowing the story just because mom said it to you. You need to learn how to read for yourself. They didn't enjoy that. There are so many children that don't enjoy reading because learning to read is work. But I'm trying to get you to the point, dear children, where you can read for yourself. Why? Because once you stretch the limits, even though you were comfortable, it changes the game. I remember having a conversation with my cousin Winter one time. She passed away in 2018. And even though we grew up together, saw each other at least once a year, she had a different experience and a different reality where she grew up than where we grew up. And how we grew up. And I didn't know that. It took us being adults for her to walk me through her experience growing up in the inner city in Baltimore, what she saw, what she experienced, and how that contrasted to what I saw and what I experienced. She said, but the best thing that ever happened, she said, I was smart and I was able to go to this school on a full scholarship. She said, I went to this school. It was an all-girls school. All these people had money. She said, and I would go into these girls' homes and my eyes were just buck-eyed wide open, because I had never seen anything like that. And then I went on the trips because of this school. And then I had exposure to these great classes and great teachers and great books. And all of a sudden, my eyes were open to what was possible. And it changed the game for me. She said, exposure matters. So in order to fix the problem of information, you get the information. You take the class, you watch the YouTube videos, you sign up for the subscription, you join the membership group, you figure out where the information is and you go get it. And it doesn't matter if you have the money or not. Do you know that you can go to a local college, find the syllabus for a professor for something you want to learn or some way in which you want to grow, look at the books that professor will have his students read the books. Read the books. Self-education, Thomas Jefferson says, is the best education because you're not so much asking someone to digest it and give it to you. You wrestle with it and digest it for yourself. There is a preacher that I know, Reverend Charles Jr. His first name escapes me, but he totally self-taught. He was a pastor's son, but he never went to seminary. His father passed away and immediately he became the pastor of that church. So he is very much so self-taught. But because he didn't have the exposure educationally, like so many other people have had, I can tell you that listening to him preach, he is one of the most well-studied, most riveting, most well-spoken, most ridiculously connective teachers I have ever heard. And I'm amazed that he's self-taught. Mark Cuban dropped out of college, playing around and tinkering in his parents' garage. He figures something out for himself. Voila. There you go. Mark Cuban. We see it all the time. People that couldn't cut it in one environment, but then they built exposure or training or development on their own. And they strengthened the muscle of learning what I don't know myself. So I don't want to hear the excuse that you can't learn it just because you don't have the money to get a degree. I don't want to hear that. We are in a society where information is at your fingertips nonstop. You lack the information, go get it. Ask questions. Seek out wise counsel. If you want it, it's there. But you may have to hunt for it and sacrifice to get it. Stop looking at what you don't know and start believing the truth that you're only limited by your belief that you can't know what you don't know. That if you change your belief system and realize that any information you need, you can get, you fix the problem. The second problem is a lack of discipline. We want to do what we feel like doing. We want to do what we feel like doing. The biggest bane of our existence is doing what we feel like doing. The difference between those who reach the highest heights and those who don't is not a matter of we know or don't know. Often it's we know and don't want to do it because we don't feel like it today. Quit operating based on how you feel. Quit waiting to be inspired to make a forward motion in your life. Stop waiting for motivation to do what you know you're supposed to do. Decide what you're going to do based on the information you have and then do it. I mean, Nike got this right, didn't they? Just do it. You may not know everything there is to know, but what you do know, just do it. You may be starting with you may not have a head start. You may be starting behind the starting line. It doesn't matter. Stop lamenting your starting point and just get started. Just do it. Because something happens when you move forward into forward motion. Something happens. You change your belief in your brain about who you are and what you can do. You shift the gears. Motivation can start you up, but it's not going to keep you. Discipline is what keeps you going. Discipline is simply the act of doing what needs to be done because you're supposed to do it, and you do what needs to be done when you're supposed to do it consistently. And when you fall off, you get up and you do it again. The solution for consistency often is in the third principle of lacking guidance or support. Many of us just need support to be consistent. We just need support to keep showing up. We just need to know that we're not alone, that we have community. We need information also, but oftentimes you just need support. Like this is why Weight Watchers works. Because somebody's going to weigh you every week. This is why running groups work, because if you don't show up, they're going to call you. This is why book clubs keep us reading, because if I know we're going to discuss this next week, I'm going to read the book. Discipline supported by external supports is okay. Doesn't matter how much external support you need. Discipline is not about who you are. It's about what you do. And you're disciplined if you know what to do and you keep doing it. The other limitation besides lack of information and lack of discipline is lack of guidance. We all need a teacher. The beauty of the Word of God, the reason why the Bible is so important. Listen, I've gone to a Bible study for years where there were people who were atheists but understood that the Bible is one of the greatest literary books to be written in all of time. So many of the things that we know and say in culture come from the Bible. And they said, I just want to get to know this literary work. So I'm coming to Bible study so I can read the book. There's a lot of shortcuts that you can take once you already know what God's Word says. So if you don't read your Bible, start with that. Start with that guidance. But also, even in the Bible, we are taught that we need to follow other people. We need our parents to give us good guidance. We need teachers to give us good teaching. We need people in the world, pastors or mentors, to give us the information we don't need. Let us follow you. How did you do it? Can I study from your footsteps and learn? This is why the inner circle even exists. This is why we put out all this content for Chrystal Evans Hurst and or the sister circle, because I know that sometimes you just need the information. The problem is that when we know we need a teacher, we won't seek them out. The problem is when we know we need a mentor, we won't hunt that person down. We'll say, well, I asked them to help me and they wouldn't help me. My son is in college. And he was struggling with a concept in one of his classes. I said, well, did you go to the office hours? He said, no. Son, you're not taking advantage of everything that's been given and paid for at your university. Go to the office hours. But I mean, he's going to show up in a group. Go to the office hours. You have not milked every bit of information you need to do well in that class until you have visited with the professor and they're availing themselves to you. I know that sometimes you ask someone to mentor you, or you look for someone to coach you, or you look for someone to teach you and they disappoint you. Parents don't always have all the answers. The person that you ask to meet with you isn't consistent in showing up. You're wanting to sit underneath someone and learn from them, and maybe even sitting with them, they disappoint you because it's kind of smoke and mirrors what they do. What I'm telling you is you want to learn from someone. There's a girl named Lisa Nichols. She's a motivational coach, and she said that she went to attend a workshop, a seminar. It was for teaching other people how to become life coaches. She went for a fraction of the rate because she was willing to volunteer. And she said, I went to this thing 5 times as a volunteer so that I could afford it, so that I could learn what I needed to learn. I never met the person, but I sat under their teaching until I got it. Howard Hendricks at Dallas Theological Seminary, who was a teacher for Christian education, said, we read too many books. We read one book and then the next and then the next. And what you need to do is focus on making sure that whatever book you read that taught you something, that you read it again until you make sure you're actually doing it. The biggest thing that we need to do is take advantage of the people who are already there on repeat. You listen to the podcast again. You heard the sermon. You watch it on YouTube again. You have read the book for this person who is your mentor. You've never met them, but they've written a book. You read the book again. You listen again. You watch again until you are able to rehearse, because you've hidden that messaging, that skill set, that understanding in your heart. You absorb it. You absorb it. And you keep coming back to whoever it is that's feeding you what you need to know. There's different levels of coaching and mentoring. Sometimes you just need to watch people and watch what they do. Sometimes you get to get up close. Sometimes you're far away. It doesn't matter. Books are some of the biggest mentors coaching that I've ever received for people I've never met. You can fix your problems. Here's the deal. 80% of resolutions, Forbes magazine says, will fail. Only 9% of the people who set resolutions at the beginning of the year feel successful about their goals. The reason is, y'all, because we set our resolutions at the beginning of the year and then we start doing what we're comfortable with. And the information that we need is hard to get, or the discipline that we need is hard to keep, or the mentors that we need are hard to find. And so we shrink back to the story that we've been telling ourselves on repeat, the cat in the hat of our character. And we get settled with that. We get settled with that and accept that it won't be the case for us. You are living with limits because you are accepting the limitations that you are putting on yourself. You want to live without limits? Change your brain. Renew your mind. Change your thoughts about what you can do. And that starts with getting the information, showing up with discipline, and finding people or a person that you can follow up close or even in the distance. And you keep showing up until you get what you need. David Goggins, you can Google him on YouTube. He says there are 2 voices in your head. It's the easy voice and the hard voice. Your mommy voice is the easy voice. It's the, oh, you can do it. Oh, do you have a little boo-boo? Come here, let me hold you. Are you sure do you need my help? You'll be all right. That's the mommy voice. The hard voice says, you gonna be able to do this? I think not. I'm not so sure if you're gonna be able to make it. So here's what happens. We like the mommy voice. We like the it's going to be okay voice. You can do it. Let me help you. We like that voice because it's the cat in the hat. We don't like the hard voice. But the hard voice will show up and tell you what you can't do until you prove that you can. You have to decide to take the limits off. He says, most of us live in an 80-20. 20% of what is easy to do, what we want to do, and the 80% that we desire to do, but it takes work. 80% of your life is going to be suffering. I hate to tell you this, 80% of your life is going to be uphill. 80% of your life is going to be painful. It's going to be difficult. 80% of your life is going to involve some kind of self-doubt. 80% of your life is going to involve some stretching. We don't like the first 18 years of our life because we have to go to school. It's because every year we're stretched beyond our limits. And the teachers know if they will show up to class, do the homework, take the test, we can stretch their capacity. And then you become an adult and you have to decide to stretch your capacity yourself. The very place where you think you're going to wilt is probably the place where you have to prove to the hard voice that you can do it. You have no idea of what you're capable until you look your hard stuff in the eye and ask yourself, is this actually really a limit? Or is this just a lie I've been telling myself? Now, you do have to have a vision of what's possible, and this is why exposure matters. But here's the good part. Even if you haven't been exposed, if you are exposed to the Spirit of God in you, He can dream dreams that you don't even know you want to have. He can open up possibilities that you didn't even know existed. Your victory in going the distance and being satisfied with yourself, and also in just enamored with what you're capable of, can come from someone outside of you. This is why it's so important that you're a follower of God, and why it's so important that you read the Bible, why it's so important that you pray, why it's so important that you connect with the Spirit of God in you, because you actually don't even know what's possible until you live with someone who lives outside of the possibilities that you know, and can tell you what you're supposed to do, who can cry out to the deepest parts of your soul so that you want what you didn't even know existed. Stop quitting because you're not good at things. Stop quitting when it gets hard. Stop quitting because you're exhausted. Stop quitting because it's difficult. Stop quitting because no one has ever done it. Stop quitting because you think that you have a limit. And just ask the person who sees no limits for you, is there another way I can get this done? Dr. Laura Boyd, she did a TED Talk. She talks about neuroplasticity and how your brain actually, through your behaviors, can learn different paths. The neurons fired up by the chemicals in your brain can make new connections, and sustained structural changes in your brain happen when you continue to show up, fire up those neurons, and teach your body, your brain, your soul what you're capable of. If you are thinking you have limits, it's because the structural capacity of your brain has been fixed a certain way. But even in science, even in the natural, we learn that neuroplasticity says even the structure of my brain can change, which means that the limits that exist in the current structure of your brain are based in what you've been doing. So how do you break your limitations? How do you change what you think you're capable of? You do something different. You stretch yourself beyond what you've been doing. You stop living the cat in the hat life, and you start learning to sound out the sound of your life on your own. How do I read my chapters, the chapters in my life, the book of my life? How do I read that myself? You learn to read. You learn how to connect with the ability that you have to see vision for your life that someone else in your life might not have even given you. So it doesn't matter if you haven't had the guidance and support. It doesn't matter if up to now you haven't been a disciplined person. It doesn't matter if up to now you haven't had the information. If you believe that your brain can change, if you believe that you can renew your mind, if you believe that you can and do serve a God, that a God who existed before the beginning of time has given you not only the power to change, but the power to be involved in your changing, that you can do the things that are hard, that you can do the things that you couldn't do last year, that you can do the things that last time you tried, you didn't know how to, because you can learn, you can grow, you can change, and you can get the information you need. Doggone it, we live in the information age. Stop telling me what you don't know. You are speaking death to the possibilities of your life. You want to live with no limits? Change your mind. Change your mind. Give yourself the benefit of a doubt. And what you find that your soul is craving, maybe God put it there. Maybe there's a healthy, balanced version of what you want, because God created you to rule and exercise dominion in your life. It's a Genesis mandate. There's a book that I have read. There's two, actually. I'll make sure that when this video is live, we link to them in the comments. One of them is called Essentialism. There is a page in this book that looks like this. You have a circle with rays coming out of the circle. And all of the rays form a nice, neat pathway. They stretch the circle just a little further. And the circle looks like a sun. And then right next to it, there's a picture of that circle with one long ray pointing to the top. And the messaging here is simple. You are limitless, but only to the degree that you are focused and not spending your energy in other places that are stealing your energy for the most important thing in your life. let me give you a diabolical truth here. You are limited. You will not live forever. You are limited to time and space. You live in a body. You can't know everything or do everything in a lifetime. You do have to choose. There is the reality that even if you decide to climb Mount Everest, there are limitations to what your body can do in certain temperatures. But it is the reality of acknowledging your limits, your God-given limitations, that will allow you to be limitless in an area that He has called you to be. Limitless is not about never reaching an end. It's about reaching God's end for you and going past the end points you were giving yourself. So another book I love, it's called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And it's talking about focus. Now listen, y'all, I struggle with focus. I want to be the little sun that has rays going in all the different directions. One of the biggest challenges of my life right now is figuring out which rays are sucking my energy from the things that are most important, that are supposed to take me beyond the boundaries of my own capacity. You have to decide, if you want to be limitless, what you're going to cut. Because if you're feeding all the things, you won't have enough energy to feed the main thing. Limitless is not about having no end. It's about having God's end in mind for you. It is learning to live within the boundaries, the God-given boundaries, so that you can experience true freedom. You know, Adam and Eve in the garden had boundaries. You can eat of any of these trees. Don't eat of that one. They experienced total freedom, except for one thing. And when they got distracted by the one thing, that's when they lost their limitless freedom in the garden that God had provided. Some of you are doing things limitlessly that are killing you. The time that you're spending on social media, the amount of food that you're putting in your mouth, the people that you're with, the company that you're keeping, it's killing you. Because you're not willing to draw boundaries. I'm not willing to draw boundaries around the things that are stealing my limitless life. Here's what God says. Philippians 1:6, He who began a good work in you will bring it to completion. He has an end in mind for you that you may not have for yourself. 1 Corinthians 9 says, run like all runners who win a race. Run like you want to win the prize. Like there's an end to this. But can you maximize your capacity while you're running? Acting like you want to win whatever prize it is that God has for you based on what He's given you to work with in this life. Galatians 6:9 says, I know you're going to get tired, but don't get weary of doing the good things that He's put in your path to do. And Hebrews 12 says, lay aside every weight. Stop getting bogged down with all the things. Stop getting bogged down. I think y'all lost me on Instagram. My mic is doing funny things. I'm still on YouTube and Facebook if you want to hop over. My phone rang. If you can hear me, great. But if it stops, then sorry. Y'all, I'm the worst traveler ever. The worst traveler ever. I pack way too much stuff. For a 24-hour trip, I'll pack 5 books I can't read. People always pick up my check-in luggage and say, what is in your bag? All the things I don't need. All the things I don't need. It slows me down. I'm trying to learn how to be a lighter packer. I'm trying because it's no fun carrying heavy bags. Here's the question. What is in your bag you don't need? Like, it's great to have it, but you don't need it. Think about runners who run. They dress in the clothing that's going to enable them to have the least wind resistance possible because they're trying to win. What is enabling you to move with better focus, and what is keeping you from focus? And get rid of it. Get rid of it. I told you about Audrey Mest. Let me tell you the rest of her story. How long can you hold your breath? How long can you push the boundaries of your existence? How limitless are you really? The last time she went on a dive, she was trying to break a record. What happens when you go on a dive is you actually ride a sled down. Takes really no major physical exertion. You ride a sled down. You are tethered by a cable. And then attached to you, you have an inflatable tank that will fill with air so that when it's time for you to come back to the top, you come back to the top quickly. Without going to a gross amount of detail, there were multiple things wrong that day that she dived. The first one was the weather was bad. And if the weather is bad on top of the water gets choppy underneath too. It wasn't bad enough for her to stop her dive, but it was one of a few things that weren't right that day. The second thing is the cable, which is supposed to have a tightly tethered tautness to it. It was loose. And so she wasn't going down as fast or up as fast because there was slack in the line, which meant that when it was time for her to be pulled to safety, there was too much slack in the line to make that move go quickly. And the inflatable tank was empty. So not only did she not have the buoyancy that she needed, not only did she have the tightness in the cable that she needed, not only did she not have good weather conditions, all three of these happened at the same time. What should have been a 3-minute dive was a 9-minute dive. When she got back to the surface, there was not the emergency systems that she needed to preserve her life. They had to get to shore before emergency systems were in place. I've heard people say, I've read about this, that no limit deep diving is actually one of the best sports there are. That skiing in comparison down a ski slope is rife with way more opportunities for you to get hurt or die than this. But that day, she was testing her limits and realized she actually did have limitations. The reason why it's so important for you in your effort to live without limits, to understand your limitation and to be connected to your God, is because there will come times in life where the conditions are not great. There will be times in your life when the things that have kept you tethered to your sanity, to your soulfulness, to your connections, to your communities, they're looser than you want them to be. There will be times in your life when the things that normally bring you back to yourself, that get you above the surface of the water, your faith, your emotional stability, your finances, the tank will be empty, and what you relied on in the past doesn't work now. The reason why it's so crucial for you to be connected to God is because you do have limits. And while He has designed you to test the boundaries of your limitations, the only place that you want to go down deep, chasing your limitations, are the places that He wants you to go, when He wants you to go, tethered to who He wants you to be tethered to, going to the place that He wants you to go. Because if you push past your limitations in your natural self, you might not end up exactly where you want to be. And there are people that we know who have done that. They test the boundaries of themselves to a fault, because they're doing things God never asked them to do. I don't want you to test the limits of your humanity just because you want to test them. I want you to test the limits of your humanity to the places and spaces where God has dreamed of no limits for you. You want to know no limits? Know God. You want to know no limits? Know His purposes and plans for your life. You want to know no limits? You need to ask yourself, where does He want me to stretch? Where does He want me to go? What call has He placed in my heart? The thing, the passion that I cannot shake, that I cannot get rid of it. You need to walk in wise counsel and only go to those places where God in your heart and the wise counsel around you are supporting you. So get the information, exercise the discipline, get the mentor, get the guidance, get the support. Yes, test the limits of your brain and of your body, but do that where He leads. Because you can test the limits. That's exactly what Adam and Eve did. And they messed everything up. Audrey Mest is remembered because she did go beyond her physical capacity. Many, 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 many times. No harm, no foul. But the one time she sought to break a boundary, and everything that was supposed to support her was not aligned, it broke her. I want you to live with no limits where it won't break you. Bend you? Yes. Test you? Yes. Stretch you? Yes. Surprise you? Absolutely. But I want you to do that in a way you were designed for. And the only way that I know how to tell you how to know the difference. Yep, get the information. Yep, exercise the discipline. Absolutely. Get a guidance, get support, get a mentor. But you better know God. You better know God. I believe you were designed to live way beyond the limitations you were placing on yourself. I believe it down deep in my bones. This is why I'm here week in and week out with podcasts and videos. This is why I speak, teach the Bible, speak, encourage, and inspire. This is why I write books. This is why we put out blogs. This is why my team, I keep them chasing their tails, because there is a whole group of people who just need somebody in their ear, in their face saying, quit messing around. Test your limits. Live your life. Time is limited. Don't waste it. I believe it within the core of everything that I have that you can do more than you think you can. I believe it. But I also believe if you try to do it without God, you won't win. So this is me showing up again to tell you, whatever it is, girl, guy, for the little guys that show up and tell me that they're here while their wives are listening, or on the down low, they don't want to comment, but they're here. Test the limits. Quit messing around. Quit wasting time. And know that, yes, he does dream bigger than you dream for yourself. He is able to do exceedingly above, beyond what you can even ask or think about. So I'd love for you to tell me in the comments as we wrap this up, what has God been thinking about for you? What is in the depth of your soul that you have put limits on for yourself, but you believe down deep, I can't shake it. I think he's been calling me to this ever since I was a little girl. This is what I remember hoping for, dreaming for, praying for, wondering about. This is what I crave when I see other people doing it. What are the things that you desire to do, who you desire to be, what you desire to accomplish that you've been limiting yourself from? What is it? Call it out. There's power in saying it out loud, typing it so other people can see, acknowledging the hope that you have in you. You are a creature with limited resources that has limitless potential. So stop allowing what you lack to convince you that you're lacking. You have everything you need for this life he's given you to live. Take the limits off. Reconnect. New thoughts, new dreams, new realities. Shift the surface in your brain. And if you need somebody today to tell you you can do it, well, I'm your girl. Talk to me in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Okay. I love the comments. So, 2 hours, not 3. I didn't go for 30 minutes, but went a little longer. I see you in the comments, writing, singing, mentoring, counseling, trust the limits, no limits. Yes, Philippians 4, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Become a counselor, cybersecurity, coaching and encouraging. Complete my theology degree. Me too. Me too, Mbaka. Me too. Me too. Speaking, coaching, and writing. An art gallery. Come on, listen to him speak. That's amazing. Can homeschooling be a calling? Maybe. Am I going to be able to graduate these last 2 kids? We're going to see. Oh, my word. I'm looking at your comments. Tell me what you're going to do. The books were Essentialism and The One Thing. personalities are no longer permanent. Speaking, I see you. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Be a psalmist? Open a home for girls. Oh my, do I love that. Love it. Start my business, Latanya says. What's your business? Come on, doctoral degree. I see you. Going to Africa on a missions trip. I see you. Applying for my next job. I'm going to get one. No less than 60K. Come on. Believe the best. I'm going to work at Disney. Okay. I love it. I love the specificity of that. Take my adult literacy program to the next level. Amazing. Start nurse practitioner school. Getting my doctorate degree in leadership. Own a coffee shop with event rooms to host a Bible study. I want to do that. I literally drove around an area that I would love to purchase property in. I have no idea how that would even be possible. It's like, no idea. But I would love it. I have a whole vision. It's like a 3 business thing in a big building. I have this whole vision. I have no idea. But I'm going to say it out loud. Complete my IT degree and work in the field. Get my GISP. Become an ASL interpreter. Love it. Girls travel softball team. Love it. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you stuck with me. Don't let me keep you away from doing your job at work. Don't let me get you in trouble with Jesus. Sometimes it is just this simple. Elaine says, survive my divorce. I'm good. I'm good with that. You are limitless. But you do have limitations. So decide what you're going to prune. And stop telling yourself the story that you can't do it. You won't find the end of yourself in the corner of comfort. You just won't. So literally get the information you need. If you need, my practical takeaway here, y'all, is seriously, go get the book. Like, get the book. Get the book. Take the course. Follow the person. Join the membership. Like, whatever it is that you need. Seriously, do whatever you need to do to build accountability in your life. Join the club. Develop the club. Like, ask the women to come to your house. You know what you need help with? Get some women to meet up with you at the park and go walking. Get the mentor and get the guidance, get the counsel, get the therapy. Like, seriously, if you lack something, you have the capacity to go get it. So, all right, y'all. I'm sure my kids are happy that I was not over there to tell them what to do. So I'm going to go be a mom and make sure they can graduate. Glad you were here, Lori. I see you trying to be a financial advisor, Sharnita. All right. Okay, Lynette, let's do it. All right, girls, for those of y'all who are in the inner circle, this video stays up for you. You can go back and listen to all the foolery. Don't pee on yourself. Or be prepared. Get your Depends ready. If you made it here late. And for those of you who are not here in the inner circle, this video will be up for the next 24 hours. But we'd love to have you in the inner circle. It's a good time to come on in the door and bring a friend. See you later, DJ. Enjoy the library. You all are very, very welcome. Okay, Lavinia says, I need help really bad with college algebra. I have a friend who never got her degree because she could never get past the algebra class, but she never went to office hours. Take you an in-person class, go on ratemyprofessor.com, is it .com or .org, and find the best professor in your school, hire a tutor. You can do it. You can do it. Someone said, how can I be in the inner circle? You go to crystalevanshurst.com/inner circle. All right, y'all. Yes. All right. Inner circle. Y'all have it. If you're not, 24 hours, it comes down. So if you missed the beginning of the foolery, I think the foolery is worth the price of admission. Oh, my goodness. You're finishing your degree, Contessa? Great. Oh, Tori says, do we have retreats? We want to. We're working on it. We're working on it. Trying to find a place for an event in January. Not a retreat, but an event. And then later on in 2023, we're hoping that we can do it. Have a great day. To sign up for the coaching, you go to crystalevanshurst.com/coaching. There you go. I'm seeing questions. Yes, Atomic Habits. My son has read that. I haven't. That's what we're working on, Calvania, a live coffee session in January. Oh, Katura, you're 6 classes away? Girl, you're almost done. Just keep telling yourself, I'm almost done. Who needed algebra help? Jackie Henry is in these comments saying, who needs algebra help? And I'm trying to find it. Math teacher here. Oh, you have lots of offers for help, Lavinia. Erica LeMaistre. This is what the Sister Circle is all about. And this is why we're here for the chat, really. This is why we're here. If it's your first time, make sure you are subscribed and all the things. All right, y'all. Let me go live my best life. And give these to my children. So I don't eat them. Look at this. Testimonies in the chat. Katura said, I understand. I took that class 3 times. 3 times a charm. You can do it. Oh, now we have all the people struggling in class. We're going to be creating, y'all, and those who y'all are in the inner circle. My hope is that we have the homeschooling group up for you this week. We'll have a communicators group up for you this week. And one of the other groups that we wanted to have, or, not group yet, but when you go in and you click all the boxes, that if you're in school, we want to have a way for you to connect so that y'all can have study halls. We have all kinds of things. We're just trying to do them one at a time. One at a time. Because if we do all the things all at once, we won't be doing them well. So, all right, y'all. Peace out. Have a great day. Have a great October. Thanks for kicking it off with me.